Om Sarvadharmastapakasam Sarvadharmaswarupakaha Acharyanam Acharyo Ramakrishna Ayate Namaha. We are studying Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master, as the spiritual teacher, second part. And today we have to take up the fourth chapter. In English, the name is As the Spiritual Teacher Concluded. It is not wrong, but in Bengali the name is Guru Bhav Sambandhe Shesh Katha. Now, Shesh Katha can have two meanings. Shesh Katha means the last thing, or Shesh Katha means the remaining thing. So understood? So whatever has not been told in that will be told. That is the meaning, remaining. And if you take it as the last thing, here it will be shown toward the end of the chapter how Guru Bhav itself, when it becomes condensed, becomes Divya Bhav. And after that, within this volume, within this part, we'll get 3 chapters dealing with Divya Bhav. So that is the last chapter. So concluded is not wrong, but I tried to explain the inside meaning. Remaining things and the last thing, that is concluded. Now this opens with shlokas as usual, and the shlokas also are telling about incarnation directly. So we read the shlokas first. Gita, 4th chapter, 6, 7, 8. Ajopi san, Avya Atma, Bhutanam Ishwaropi san, Prakritim Swam Adhishtaya, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Every word has to be discussed. Ajopi san. Ajo means birthless. It has a double meaning. It is not born from something. And from it nothing is born. Both means Ajo. Now, I will tell some important point here. So God is never born. Then what is incarnation? God appears to take up a body. He is not born. Now, in this respect, the Sikh religion or sect, I would say, a part of Hinduism only, their book, Guru Grantha, starts with same. Ek Omkar Ajuni. Aja they call Ajuni. And they say, because God cannot be born, no incarnation is possible. Because God has said, I cannot be born. But who has said? God, incarnation himself has said that. But in the Vedas also, Brahman is Aja already. Now, as if anticipating that, Krishna is telling, though I am Aja, I am born. Then you are Aja, then how you are born? Sambhavami. Sambhavami. We are all Bhavami. That means we are compelled to take birth. He is not compelled to take birth. Some means samyak, properly. I manifest myself properly. Sambhavami. Though I am Aja, I manifest myself properly. And more detailed reply has been given by Shankaracharya in the introduction to Gita commentary. He says he is unborn. But we do see him. Jata iva. Lokanugram kurvan iva cha lakshate. As if he is born. As if he is doing good to people. So when we are born, we become jivas. We are jivas. And due to our desires unfulfilled, we are compelled to take an next birth. He has no desires. So he will compel him to take birth. But can he not assume a body? For the sake of, you see, Brahman is Nirgun, Sagun both. Now what is Sagun Brahman? Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Karta, that is Sagun. Now if he has created the world, he is desirous of preserving it for some time. And then when the time comes, he will destroy it. He will solve it. Now this preserving requires two forces. Look at Gita quickly. There. Big book, horizontal. Sit down. I will read from Shankar's introduction to the comment. First, he has composed a shloka. Om Narayana Paro Avyakta Andam Avyakta Sambhavam Andashantari Ime Loka Sapta Dvipacha Miti. There is an unmanifested state of the world that is called Avyakta. Narayana is beyond that. Narayana Paro Avyakta. And this world which we call originally is like an egg under subtle form. And the subtle form or under is inferior to Avyakta. Avyakta, unmanifested, it becomes semi-manifested, that is under. And then all the lokas, 14 lokas of our people, are inside that under. Under Shanta Sime Loka. So when the under breaks, it comes out, 14 bonus. Sapta Dvipacham Idin. Along with this, all the lokas, the earth also. You know, earth has 7 islands. You know that, no? 7 continents, rest is ocean. So what are the islands? Big islands. Sapta Dvipacham Idin. Now, who is beyond Avyakta? Narayan. Narayan means Nara's ultimate goal. Naranam Ayanam Narayan. So he is the beyond. So is Bhagavan. That very Narayan is called Bhagavan now. So Bhagavan. That Narayan, Bhagavan, Srishtva Idam Jagat, created this world. Tasya cha sitim chikershu, wanted to preserve it. Maricha din agre Srishtva Prajapatin, Marichi, etc., Prajapati he created. Pravritti Lakshanam Dharmam Grahayamasa Vedoktam. Pravritti Lakshanam, that in which we do something. Righteous things. So he taught them, he created Marichi and other Prajapatis and gave them Grahayamasa, made them take Pravritti Lakshanam Vedoktam. Karma Kanda. That religion which asks us to do something in the Vedas. Tata Anyancha Sanaka Sanandanadin Utpadya. 4 great rishis were there. Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sankumar. He created them. Nivritti Lakshanam Dharma, religion in the form of withdrawal. Jnana Vairagya Lakshanam, the Nivritti Lakshanam is Jnana Vairagya Lakshanam. The right consciousness resulting in renunciation. Grahayamas. Vedanta. So he created 4 special rishis and made them take up the Nivritti Lakshana Dharma, which is also Jnana Vairagya Lakshana. Dvido hi Vedokto Dharma, Pravritti Lakshana, Nivritti Lakshana cha. So the Vedic religion is of 2 types. Do something good, withdraw yourself. And these 2 together keep the world going. Jagata Sthiti Karanam. Dvido Vedokto Dharma, Pravritti lakshana, nivritti lakshana cha jagata sthiti karanam. So understood now clearly? To keep up the world requires two forces. In the language of science, centripetal, centrifugal. Centrifugal going out. Centripetal coming to the center. Unless these two forces are there, if there is no centrifugal, then the world will collapse immediately, withdraw. And if there is no withdrawal, the externalism will be so bad that it will be destroyed by itself. So keep up the world going requires two forces. The extrovert and the not introvert, ingoing. Outgoing, ingoing. Both types of religion is taught by the Vedas, and that keeps up the world. Now that is world. What about the beings? What does that two types of religion does to the beings? Praninam sakshat abhyudaya nishrayasayet. Directly, pravritti lakshana dharma for the living beings is abhyudaya, worldly prosperity. And nivritti lakshana, nishrayas, moksha, freedom, liberation. Hetu. So these two types of religion is the cause of, for the Jagat it is the cause of maintenance. For the beings it is the cause of worldly prosperity and moksha. Yes, dharma, that dharma, brahmanati varnivi ashramivicha shreyorthivi anuštiyamana. Shreya means, nishres means moksha. Shreya means we want our good. So those who want their good, the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, etc. and Brahmachari, Gurastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, Anuštiyamana. They have to practice it actually in life. Vairagya Jnana also has to be practiced, Pravritti also has to be practiced. Dirghena kalena anushtatrunam kamo bhavat. Now these who are practicing, inside them what is there? Desires. And so long as they are practicing religion properly, desires are under control. But if the practicing becomes slack, that is called dirghena kali. The desires rise. Hiyamana viveka jnana hetu ke na dharmena. Vivek and vairagya go down. Adharmena vivayamane dharme. Then irreligion overpowers religion. Pravardhamane cha adharme. Then the irreligion grows. Jagata sthitim paripipalayeshu. But at that point of time, he wants to preserve the world. Sa Adikarta Narayanaka Vishnu. That very Adikarta, original, Narayan was his name. Actually, it is the Vishnu. Vishnu means protecting the world. Vishnu is the name given to God when he protects the world. Bhaumasya Brahmano Brahmanatasya Rakshanartham. Bhaumasya means on this land, Brahman is there in the form of Brahmins. Brahmins are Brahman on the earth. Not Brahmins, Brahmanatvasya Rakshana. The Brahminhood. The Brahmins have to have the Brahminhood. Even the Kshatriyas and others can have the Brahminhood, quality of the Brahmin. To protect that, Devakyam Vasudevat Anshena Krishna Kilasambhu. So from Devaki, by a part of Vasudeva, in the form of Krishna, he manifested himself. Why he wanted to protect the Brahmanhood? Brahmanantasya rakshanena rakshita syat vaidiko dharma tad adinadvat varnashrama veda. That means all the varnas, all Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the Grihastha, Vanaprastha, their religion is under the Brahmanhood. That means the living manifestation and teacher of religion is called the Brahmin's nature. Such a Bhagavan, the same three shlokas are explained here. Such a Bhagavan, Jnana, Ishwarya, Shakti, Balavirya, Tejo, vi Sada Sampanna. What is the meaning of the word Bhagavan? Bhaga is the name of these special qualities. Jnana, Aishwarya, Shakti, Bala, Virya, Tej. 6. Sada Sampanna. He always possesses. Trigunatmekam Vaishnavim Swam Mayam. His own. Vaishnavi means belong to Vishnu. That means his own Maya, which is of Trigunatmaka, Mula Prakriti. That itself is called the Mula Prakriti. Vashikritya. He subjugates that. Aja Aveyo Bhutanam Ishwaro, that word switcher here. Aja Aveyo Bhutanam Ishwaro, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Svabhava Apisan, Swamayaya Deyavan Iva, Jata Iva Cha, Loka Nokram Kurvan Iva Cha, Deyavan Iva, as if he has a body, as if he is born, as if he is doing good to people. That is how we see. Swaprayojana Abhave Api, Bhutanu Jigrukshaya. As a person, he has no desire, no purpose of being born. But because of his compassion for beings, Vaidikami Dharma Dvayam, the Vedic Dharma of two types. Arjunaya Shoka Moha Moho Dado Nimagnaya Upadideksha. Taught it to Arjuna, who had become overpowered by Shoka and Moha. Why? Gunadike hi gruhita anushthiyamana cha dharma prachayam gamishyati. If a man with noble qualities, if he takes up religion, then he will practice it. And then religion will grow. This is the avatar. Okay? Now we read the English translation. One sentence here, which Shankar has not told here. So I read back the shlokas. Ajopisan Avayatma Bhutanam Ishwaropisan, Shankar has dealt with. Pravrittim Swamadhisthaya Sambhavami Atma Maya, dealt with. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati, Bharat means Arjun. Abhyutanam adharmasya Tad Atmanam Srujamyam. This also is dealt with him. Now the third shloka is partly dealt with by him. Paritranaya sadhunam, saving the good people. Sadhu does not mean sannyasi. Huh? In English, sadhu. In Sanskrit, sadhu means a good man. So to protect the good man. Vinashaya cha dushkritam. And to destroy the evildoers. Dharma sansthapanarthaya. Then the religion will become re-established. Not that to establish a particular religion. Religion will become re-established. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Yuge yuge is another important thing. I think 1 or 2 days back I dealt with this, na? Yuga avatar. What is age and all that. Now here, one word, the style is changed. In all the previous incarnations, he has to kill the asuras. In Buddha incarnation, he did not kill anybody. In Jesus incarnation, he did not kill anybody. Shankar, Chaitanya, they did not kill anybody. And Thakur, he did not kill anybody. What he did, what he changed, Harshanand Swamiji Sri Ramakrishna Stotra. Note down somewhere, one word. Dushtasya buddhe parivartanaya. Instead of Vinashaya cha dushkritam, he adopted a new style, Dushtasya buddhe parivartanaya. Change his mind. Buddha changed the mind of the deadliest dacoit Angulimal. In Sri Ramakrishna, we see that he changed so many evildoers. We take example of Girish. So that is a style change. I think I explained everything now. Read the given English translation. Although unborn and changeless by nature and Lord of all beings, I am by subjugating my Prakriti born through Maya. Subjugating his Prakriti means these three gunas are in Prakriti. And he has to have the three gunas for the body. So that is subjugating the Prakriti. Whenever Odi, born through Maya means appears as Bhav. So both have come. Subjugating Prakriti means taking up a body which is made of three gunas. And through Maya means appears to be born, though not really born. Whenever a descendant of Bharata, religion declines and irreligion prevails, I assume a body. Assume. I am born in every age for the protection of the good, the destruction of the wicked, and the establishment of religion. Okay? Now we read. So that is going to be the 4th chapter. After telling remaining things about Gurva, he will come to that. The Vedas call a knower of Brahman all-knowing. We dispute about it without understanding the passage. First point. Brahmagnya becomes Sarvagya. We try to take it grossly. And we say if the rishis knew everything, why did they not know that earth is not flat? Why did they not know that sun does not move around the earth, earth moves around the sun? Why they did not know these elementary things? So how to understand God is Sarvajna? Brahma is Sarvajna. That Saradananda Swamiji said, We dispute about it without understanding the passage. So let us understand what is Sarvagyata. He explains. That is how he starts. Brahmagya's Lakshana, Ishvara's Lakshana. The Vedas and other Shastras say that the knowers of Brahman become all-knowing. Unlike in ordinary men, no false thought ever arises in their mind. That means that thought which will be falsified, that does not arise in their mind. Sarvagya and Satya Sankalpa. সাধারণ মানবের ন্যায় তার মনে কোন মিথ্যা সংকল্পের কখনো উদয় হয় না। Whatever they want to know and understand anything, whenever they want to know and understand anything, it becomes immediately clear to their inward vision. In other words, they can understand the truth about it. Anything is revealed means not how this works, but what is the principle behind that they immediately see. Now we take a railway engine, and a mathematics student and two future engineering students went to see that. The engineering students started seeing where the steam comes, how it pushes the piston. And the mathematics student said, I have seen. It is steam power which is pushing the engine. Understand now? So understand truth about it. You understood about whom I told? Myself and my two friends. Evening walking, we went to the station. And their engine was old as a steam engine. And they started observing. I said, I understood. It is the steam which is pushing the piston. That's engine will move. When we heard those words, we took the position of the opponent and raised many false arguments against this script. False, beginning itself it says false argument. Without understanding the import of what they said. We said if that were true, why were the knowers of Brahman of the past ages of India so ignorant about the physical sciences? What knower of Brahman of India said that hydrogen and oxygen combine to produce water? Why did they not tell us that news from America, a continent which one required 6 months to reach, could be received in not more than 4 or 5 hours, these days next minute? In this country with the help of electricity? Or why could they not know that man can fly like birds in the air with the help of machines? In this small digression, Vedas contain the details of how to make an airplane. Vedas contain details of how to make an airplane. And two young people from Mumbai wanted to experiment that. They had made an airplane. And Lokmanya Tilak was supporting them. British circle did not allow them to experiment. I am telling you fact of history. Not down. In the life of Tilak, this is mentioned clearly. Even the names are there of those two people. In Mumbai, you know, there is a plain sea beach, Chowpatty we call it. There they wanted to make that experiment. They did not allow. Not allow. Otherwise, India had the science, they would prove. Anyway, yes. Anyway, but as we see, they did not know. The master explained how those words are true. Press one grain of rice from the cooking pot and you know if all are boiled soft. When we came to the master, to even to understand the meaning of the Shastra words requires a guru. When we came to the master, we were told that if we tried to understand those words of the scriptures in that way, they would give us no meaning at all. But they would be known as true. If we should give them the meaning they were meant to express by the scriptures. You understand this point? In Vedanta, there is Vachartha and Lakshartha. People say direct and indirect, literal and indicated. And how to understand? We have to understand the intention of the speaker. Because the language of the words of the language are insufficient. So he uses some words to indicate what he wants to convey. And that we have to catch. And for that we require a transcendental trend of the mind. Not taking words as they appear. Through the words you have to approach. Taking use of the words you have to proceed further. Dhaneshwar Maharaj says, I will create such words that without no flowers are there. The bee, without destroying the flower, sucks up the honey. Like that you will get the meaning, such words I will express. So which language is good? Which does not obstruct, which reveals the inner meaning. If we should give them the meaning they were meant to express by the scripture. The master explained that statement with the help of one or two examples from rustic life. Rustic life means village life. He said, when the rice is being boiled in a pot, if you take one grain from it and press it between your fingers, you at once know whether all the grains in it are boiled soft or not. Why? You have not surely pressed all the grains one by one. How do you then understand it? Just as this is understood, so by examining one or two things of the world, it is understood whether the whole universe is eternal or transitory. Nature of the world. Real or unreal. Thakur always uses these two in combination, always. Because real and unreal to feel is difficult. But eternal and transitory little analysis we see. And that will lead us to understand that there is a real and that is unreal. Some people even try to make a difference between Shankaracharya and Thakur with the help of these words. These words are practical words. Sat Asat Vichar is also Nitya Vichar. A man is born, lives for some time and then dies. A cow also does so. A tree too behaves in the same way. By examining things in this way, you come to the conclusion that whatever has name and form follows the law. Name and form. The earth, the sun, the moon, etc. have names and forms. They therefore are of the same nature. Thakur is explaining. Thus you come to know that the whole of the universe is similar. You then know the nature of all the things of the world. Is that not so? Thus, as soon as you know that the world is truly transitory and unreal, you will cease to love it. That Vivek leads to Vairagya. We think the world to be real, permanent, and that is why we want to enjoy. If we know the world is transitory and unreal, the love for the world will go. So, love of God and Vairagya for the world are together always. Some people love God, but they love Rasgulla, this, that. And some people appear to have great Vairagya, putting on torn clothes without loving them. And will be free from desires. No desire. You will have the realization of God, the cause of the universe, the very moment you dismiss it. If you dismiss the world or dismiss desire, that very moment you realize God. Tyagat Shantiranantaram. The realization of God, the cause of the universe. The very moment you is he anything less than all-knowing who realizes God this way? Not. He is all-knowing. He knows that all is unreal. He knows that God alone is real. And he loses desires, he realizes God. So he is all-knowing. And that is the intended meaning of these scriptures. They do not say that he has mugged upon the encyclopedia. To know a thing together with its origin and end is to know all about it. It is the same with the world on the realization of God. One more thing, when in the unreal. To know anything, we should know the origin, the thing, and its future. Then the thing is fully known. And when we realize God, we know all these things. What is the root of the word? God. What they stay, name and form. When they go back to God. When the Master spoke these words, we felt this is indeed true. The man who knows this is all-knowing in a way. In a way means in the way intended. To see the origin of a particular thing, its middle and end, is indeed what we call knowledge of that thing. So to know or understand the universe in this way must be called knowledge of it. Again, this is equally true of the knowledge of all the particular things in the universe. Universe as a whole and all the particular things in this. Ishopanishad. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Jagatyam means in the passing away word. All passing away things. Therefore, such knowledge of the universe must be regarded as that of all the things in it. So the person who has that knowledge may really be called all-knowing. What the scriptures have said is therefore quite true. It is also true that a knower of Brahman has all his resolves fulfilled. That Satya Sankalpa is taken. Its meaning in the light of Master's life. I could not bring my mind to the cage of flesh and bone. Certain things are impossible for God, do you know? God cannot destroy himself. So this impossibility is that the desire will never arise there. So when Thakur was told, concentrate on your body, he said, I cannot bring my mind on this cage of flesh and bone. So that does not say that Ishwar is not all powerful. That shows that such a desire will never come in him. I will tell some story about it. God can do anything which He wills, not anything which I and you will. When I was in Mumbai, there was a young boy, great devotee. From childhood, he had great faith in God. And he was a brilliant student. But in his LLM part 1 examination, something happened and he did one paper badly. Now, because of his faith in God, he is praying, though I have done badly, please make me pass. And he did not pass. So his faith in God went away. And he started as a God's enemy. Either there is no God, or if he is there, he is not Sarvashaktiman. His friends brought him to me. I said, suppose he made you pass. You will be Sarvashaktiman, not he. He would be your slave. So God can do anything which he wills, not you. Understood now? And we generally impose our will. He may do that if you think that is proper. Not because of you. It is so very true about our Holy Mother Sarda Devi. I call it self-willed woman. You cry and shout, she will do what she thinks proper. So in the light of Master's life, Swamiji has already told that God cannot be understood unless you see through incarnation. We could then find a sort of meaning in this scriptural passage. All the results of an hour of Brahman come true or fulfilled. We realize as a matter of daily experience that the knowledge of a thing was acquired by an inquiry about it with our concentrated power of thinking. It was therefore no wonder that whenever a knower of Brahman who had completely mastered and controlled his mind made an inquiry with all the powers of his concentrated mind in order to know anything, he could very easily acquire the knowledge of that thing. I give an example of Swamiji's list of books of chemistry. But there is something else to be considered on this subject. Whether he who has been perfectly convinced of the transitoriness of the whole of the universe and has succeeded through love in having an immediate knowledge of God. How we get knowledge of God? Through love, mind you. What does the Gita say? Or any Vedanta says? Remember, two words I am analytically treating. Jnanat Mukti. Heto Panchami. That means if you get knowledge, you will get mukti, not by knowledge. Bhaktya mama vijadanti. By bhakti they know. So the use of Tritiya and Panchami both as cause. Tritiya says by. Panchami says after this. So nowhere in the scriptures it is said Jnanena Mukti. Jnanat Mukti. Well, about bhakti, bhaktya mama vijadati. By. And why this foolishness has come? And that also intellectual knowledge, which is not knowledge at all. And Shankar says, Moksha sadhana samagram bhaktireva kariyasi. They don't believe that. Saradananda Swami is very clear about it. And has succeeded through love in having an immediate knowledge of what is this immediate? Not through senses, not through mind, without any mediacy, aparukshanava. That is knowledge of God. Not some information, not intellectual conviction, but perceived God without any mediacy. That is called immediate knowledge. Having an immediate knowledge of God, the cause of the universe, and the mind of all powers. That is God. Cause of the universe and mind of all powers. Sarva Shaktiman. Not that is more power than the asuras. My power, your power are all his power. That is the meaning of Sarva Shaktiman. So is the mind of all powers. We'll have the resolve or inclination to invent railway train. That man will have no intent, desire to invent railway trains. Construct destructive machines and manufactories and so on. If those resolves can by no means arise in his mind, those machines and manufactories, ordnance factories, cannot surely be constructed by him. From the divine company of the Master, it became clear to us that it was actually so. It is really impossible for such inclinations to arise in such minds. When the Master was suffering from the terrible disease at Kashipur, we, Swami Vivekananda and others, requested him with tears in our eyes to apply the power of his mind and cure himself for our good. But he could not make such an effort or resolve. Effort will come later, first resolve that. He said that on trying to do so, because we requested his trying to do, he could not command a sufficient strong urge for that resolve, and I read, I could by no means make the mind turn away from existence, knowledge, bliss, and bring it to this cage of flesh and bones. I have always looked upon the body as a trifling and contemptible object, and offered the mind forever at body, contemptible object, and mind, and offered the mind forever at the lotus feet of the mother of the universe. Can I, my children, withdraw it from her and bring it back to the body? The description of another event in the Master's life in order to explain this subject. The mind is in a high plane, I cannot bring it down. It will be easy for the reader to understand the subject if we mention another event here. One day the Master came to Balram Basu's house at Bagbazar. It was about 10 in the morning. It had been settled beforehand that the master should go there at that day. It was already known, some young devotees, Narendranath and others therefore came there to have the privilege of meeting him. They were having various talks, sometimes with the master and sometimes among themselves. In connection with a talk on the faculty of seeing extremely small things, there arose a discussion on the microscope. Hearing that many things invisible to the gross eye could be seen through it, that a very tiny hair seen through it looked like a stick, and that every hair on the body looked as hollow as a stem of papaya leaf, and so on. The master expressed a boyish eagerness to see a thing or two through that instrument. So boyish means a sort of desire is growing, but it could not materialize. The devotees therefore thought that they would borrow it from someone and show it to the master that afternoon. On inquiry, it was known that Swami Premananda's brother, Dr. Vipin Vihari Ghosh, our esteemed friend, who had passed with honors his medical examination shortly before, got a microscope as a prize from the Medical College, Calcutta. A man was sent to him to fetch that instrument so that it might be shown to the master. Informed of it, the doctor came with the instrument himself. A few hours later, at about 4 in the afternoon, he set it properly and asked the master to look through it. The master got up, went forward, but returned without looking through the microscope. When we asked for the reason, he said, the mind is now in such a high plane that I can by no means bring it down. Small thing is not subtle thing. Subtle thing is beyond the senses. So you could not bring the mind to a small thing. We waited a long time to see if the master's mind would come down, but on no account did it come down that day from that high spiritual plane. Thinking that subtle thing, he might went. Therefore, he could not see through the microscope on that occasion. Having no alternative left, Vipin Babu showed those things to some of us and went away with the instrument. Om Sarvadharma Sthapakastham Sarvadharma Swarupakah Acharyana Mahacharyo Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.